What is going, fellas? And welcome back to Rebel Rescue with me, FoggyPlays on FM22. Today, we're taking our first steps into the Champions League, where one day we will be the best team in Europe and win the Champions League. But it begins with a game against Apollon Limassol, the Cypriot champions, and we're going to do both legs of the game of those games against Apollon Limassol. Not expecting an awful lot. This is our, as I said, I don't know if I mentioned, our first venture into the Champions League. So we'll have to see how we get on. But do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Right, fellas, so as I said, playing Apollon Limassol, quite a bit better than we are, it has to be said. Also, best player used to play for PSG and actually played games for PSG. Hervin Ongeda, player I've actually heard of, which is always fantastic when you're taking on Cypriot. It's a Cypriot team. We should be able to beat a team from Cyprus, not a problem. But since we were last, we drew 2-2 with Dundalk, which was very frustrating because they scored it in the last minute. Beat St. Pat's comfortably 3-1. Drew at Waterford. We just could not find the back of the net. Colin Whelan had a rather poor game, as did Farnberger, our two kind of linchpins to our attack. But then against Shelburne, just smashed them. Colin Whelan, 2 penalties. Had David Toure, I think he gave away both penalties, ended up getting sent off because of it. But we've made some signings because we are in the middle of the transfer window. So that is pretty decent. I think the next round has already been drawn. So if we do beat Limassol, we take on Ferencváros, the Hungarian champions, which will be a fun time for me because I have previously smashed Ferencváros in terms of leagues when I managed the ROG, and Farul Constanta, the Romanian champions. I'm not sure that some of these teams are actually champions. I feel like the game is just kind of freaked out because I don't have those leagues loaded. As you can see, we're sitting 4th in the league, which hasn't been ideal. Transfers we have, we're in the midst of the transfer window, so I've thrown out some trials to players to see if they're any good. Popped up in my recommendations, so interested in this guy. I think this guy could be really good. Is this no? There's someone else. Okay, if they join, you'll find out. We're trying to extend Archie Brown's loan deal, which this is the second time we've tried, and he rejected the last time. A couple of players that are going out on loan. Hefty is back to Germany, I think. Oren Turner and Marco Mani are under offer from clubs that want to sign him or sign them on free transfers. But since you were here last, Jonas Hakkinen has gone out on loan. He's complaining about not getting enough first team football. Can't really blame him. He was a fairly influential player, pretty much involved in all the games, and this year just lacked a little bit. He was injured a decent amount. George Heaven has finally left to South Shields, having only played, I think I played him 15 times. Yeah. He's managed 3 starts in his entire Cork City career. He's gone to South Shields. Ali Gilchrist's contract expired, so I offered to sell him straight away to Queen's Park, which was a bad idea because we were lacking centre backs. Romello Mitchell and Dylan McGlade have both gone to Salford for a combined total of 40,000. All of that was spent on Mitchell. Dylan McGlade had absolutely no value. I'm not sure why. Barry Coffey's gone on loan. They had decided he wanted to go on loan, which was quite unfortunate because they had through a strop because he wanted to go to loan and he decided he was going regardless. So he wanted to leave and he is gone. So we ended up, I think we had 2 centre backs left when he left, which was not ideal. So then we went and sold another centre back, Kenny Kelleher, not a very good centre back, so it's fine. It's gone to Finn Harps. And Alex Kinsella, a centre back we signed in the first season, he's gone out to Shelburne. They paid 6,500 for him. His contract was expiring, and I think we've like 25% sell on, which is fantastic. Waterford wanted to sign him on a free, he decided to go to Shelburne, which is delightful for us. The players that we did bring in, Catalin Pridu, the Romanian goalkeeper, we signed on a pre-contract. 3-star potential, not ideal, but it's fine. Tunde coming up here as a 4-star potential, but he does have, runner-up in next gen, which we gave him a game in the last one, and he was fine. Wasn't amazing. We actually managed to beat AC Milan to a signing. Onofrietti is a 5-star potential wingback or right winger who, I don't know why I say wingback, 6 tackling, ex Borussia Dortmund player, but AC Milan and Inter were in for him, and he joined us. So that's fantastic. Alex Pakepi was a bit of a panic buy. 4.5-star potential. Played the day he arrived because we literally had no other centre backs. Coleman was suspended, so it was just Heffernan. So we brought him in and he played. Also, we had a bit of a midfield issue. So Charlie Savage, who I had on trial, he joined, also played, but he came off the bench. And then Anthony Glennon has joined today as a left back option. Never really played football, but we'll see how he gets on. That is everything we've done. Oh, we've also brought Paul Carlsberg in because he signed back in. He signed a contract where he's now getting paid £300. So he is able to play football for us, which is delightful. Aquiu, I thought his contract was expiring. Turns out they extended it or gave him a new contract. I don't know, but he's leaving or he's left. Having only played one game, but I think it was a cup game. Yeah, played in the cup. So not ideal for him. But we are playing our first Champions League game, so this is super important. Not 100% sure what to do. We're just going to put a team out there, hope for the best. Everyone got registered that I wanted registered. Glennon only arrived today, so he missed out on getting registered. Mark McNulty, quite unfortunately, doesn't actually count as being trained in Ireland or at Cork City, even though spent his entire career here, which is not ideal. So he had to miss out because I wanted actual players that were going to play in my team, which, crazy. So it's a fairly normal side to what you'd be used to. Ben Elliott, probably going to transfer this to him. He has rejected 2 contracts since May. So we're going to probably end up getting rid of him because he is refusing to sign a contract with us, and I'm not going to keep players around that don't want to be here. So we're just gonna we've demotivated Fabian, but we've fixed everyone. Everyone's fantastic. We just let the assistant do the talking. We've no idea what we're facing into with this one, so we're just gonna hope for the best. See what happens. Paul Carlsberg is sitting on the bench for this one. Luke Keane does. Ooh. Who took? Albrecht took the throw? I would have assumed Quigley. Oh, Prince, what are you doing? Thankfully, Prince manages to not make a complete fuck up, and that is fine. Surely he's offside. Doesn't matter, it's gone over. It's goal kick. I'm not going to worry too much about what's going on, as long as we're not conceding. The fact that we are very much not in the highlights, not ideal. Seems like we've got more of the ball though. Oh, Farnberger just manages to get there. Keane puts Whelan through. Whelan does score, but it is, as I suspected, offside. There is some quite substantial goal lines that have been scored so far. Malmo already 3 up against Valletta. Shakhtar Soligarsk 4-0 up in their game. So, you'd probably want to be watching some of the other games. I did have a look at Limassol's performance last year. Colin Whelan is on site. We actually have VAR in Champions League, so we could potentially get to see some VAR which will be delightful. But yeah, last season they got knocked out by Copenhagen in the Champions League, then got knocked out of the Europa League by some random team. Well, they weren't very good. And then they've got to the Europa League or Europa Conference League group stage where they got absolutely battered. So unfortunately for them, they didn't cover themselves in glory with Champions League or European football last year. Colin Whelan's offside again. God damn it. I just noticed Gibraltar side, Lincoln Imps. I don't think that's what they're called anymore, but that's what my brain remembers. Are beating Sheriff Tiraspol, which I did not expect. Ferencvaros are currently drawing, so we are none the wiser to what's going on in the next round, should we make it there. But we've okay, Prince just comfortably catches a hold of the ball, finds O'Connor. We've offered Kevin O'Connor a new 2-year deal. Colin Whelan is through again. Oh, he's hit the post this time. We've offered O'Connor a new 2-year contract. Oh, Coleman. I'm not sure why Coleman is the one that's getting on the end of all these corners recently, because he is one of the shorter players. We have a couple of players that are 6 foot something. Keane, or why did I just call him Keane? Ryan has done just bits from corners, and I'm just not sure why. And then Heffernan gets on the end of one, and it gets blocked. Thankfully, Ongeta's shot doesn't. It just doesn't. Just not at all. Kevin O'Connor with the corner. Oh, Coleman's hit the crossbar and it pinged down. Heffernan finds Coleman. Back to Heffernan. The centre back partnership, passing the ball around in the opposition half. Seems though we've been pretty good for, not being the bigger side. They've instantly had an injury to their left back. And the first highlight in the second half is Apollon putting the ball just ever so slightly over. Emran with the free kick. I think Keane might have been offside. Yeah. Fabian almost scored. A bit of a rare goal, but he does score them in twos every 25 games. Which, it's a good thing he's not a striker. He's more of a ball-winning midfielder, so you'd leave him off. You wouldn't be like, oh, you're not scoring goals. It's gone through Keane. Oh, that's a 4 finishing there for you. Luke Keane not doing what was needed of him. O'Connor can't find Coleman. Fabian to Albrecht. Oh, Albrecht just puts it over. It's probably about time we made some substitutions. Albrecht can come off for Glusen. Actually, Glusen can stay there. Paul Kasberg's going to come off for Emran. Have him as the inside forward, because that's what I like him to do. We'll leave it at that for the time being. We only have 3 substitutions, so we'll just leave the last one just for a little while. In case anything happens, we need to make changes. Quigley finds Keane. Ball is not sent through to one of our players. Very un-FM-like of you. Luke Keane. He's hit the post. Oh, we're living on the edge here, lads. We're still none the wiser for the next. Oh, Ferencvaros just scored, and Apollon have a corner. And our final substitution we're going to bring on. What do we have? Nordstrand's going to come on for Quigley. Just give Nordstrand a bit of a run out. He hasn't played a huge amount. I think in the last 20 games, he's played 6. Majority of which came off the bench. And they've moved Ongeta Or no, they got a diamond. But Angela was playing as a central midfielder for a while. Now he's playing as a striker. I think if I was the Limassol manager, probably would have played him as a striker. Well done, lads. That was a good win for us. An unexpected win, but a win nonetheless, and I will take it. 2-0. Not much happened in the second half, but we've done just enough to get through the first half, or through the first half of the leg. So we'll be back in just a second for the game against Limassol in the second half of this episode. Right, fellas, so we're travelling to Cyprus now. We did play Sligo in the in-between game, and we won 4-0 with a very, very rotated side. I think the only players that are still playing today are Ryan Coleman, Cahill Heffernan, and Albrecht and Whelan. Everyone else is different. It's also Archie Brown's last attempt to get a game, and he's sitting this one out. Walker looks like he's off to Finn Harps. We could really do with a centre back. The ones I brought in. They're not joining us. There was one that used to play for Copenhagen, who I brought in on trial. 16,000. I was like, 16,000 a week? No, thank you. Colin Whelan's playing his 50th game for Cork City. Send the assistant to that. Skip. Bit of encouragement. I know we're 2 up, but this is going to be somewhat difficult, I would imagine. I'm sure if you were to ask Kevin O'Connor or Cian Murphy if they thought they'd be playing Champions League football, they probably would have said no. Emeran is true. No, that's an away goal. I don't know if away goals count, but we had a 2-0 lead. Now we're 3-0 up, and one of those is an away goal. The team we could be playing in the next round still undecided. I think it was 1-1 from the first leg. Kevin O'Connor's free kick put into the area of uncertainty, but the Limassol goalkeeper was very certain about what he was doing. Heffernan's already picked up a booking. That mightn't be ideal. We only have, what's his name? Paki? I do not remember his name. He is the only centre back we have on the bench. So, we have Gordon Walker as well, who is leaving. P. That's the one. He's our only centre back. So, if things go wrong, we're in trouble. Onofriti also played for the under-19s, hence why he's so tired. I probably shouldn't have played him. That would have been smart. Or I probably shouldn't have had him on the bench. That would have been smart. Didn't really think about it. Quigley whips it across. Can't find Whelan. Albrecht though does pick it up. I don't think Albrecht probably expected to be playing Champions League football after getting released by Hertha Berlin, which, as we know, Hertha Berlin do tend to end up in the Champions League quite a lot in FM, even though this year wasn't their best season. Farnberger, beautiful through ball. Whelan somehow doesn't get the ball in the back of the net. I held my breath for a moment, thinking that potentially we had taken a bit more of an advantage. Unfortunately, we had not. I'm slightly worried. Okay, well, yeah, them scoring obviously is worrisome to me. I'm also slightly worried that I might be having the same issue I had last time. So, but a moment. So no, everything is fine. It's just, for some reason, my audio mixer isn't showing as much as it does, or it's not peaking as high as it normally does, which is fine. Just means I'm a little bit quieter. I can just fix that in post. They've already made 2 substitutions, and we're only just starting the second half. O'Connor finds Emeran. Noam finds O'Connor. Fabian Back to Farnberger. Keane. Oh, his shot's blocked by the defender. The Limassol defenders really are putting themselves on the line. They are 100% not wanting to concede. Ferencváros are after taking a 2-1 lead in their game. We're going to make a couple of changes. Players are a little bit tired, as is to be expected. I'm going to take off Heffernan because he is not having a great game and is booked. And the last thing we need is for him to get sent off. Keane can come off for... Actually, we're not going to bring on Freddie because he's exhausted. Tunde can come on and play there. Freddie is actually learning to be an advanced playmaker in attacking midfield, because I think longer term, probably where he'll end up playing, because we do have quite a substantial amount of right wingers now. Freddie can play there. Tunde, Keane, Emeran, they can all play there, but we're just a little bit less in terms of left wingers. So Emeran and Carlsberg are kind of our main two. That was quite the spectacular save by Prinz. We have 15 minutes remaining. Quigley's having a poor game. Albrecht's having a poor game. Do we bring on Gordon Walker for his final appearance? Or do we just leave it and bring on someone who's actually in need of a change? I think Albrecht can come off for Glusen. Yeah, I'll swap the two of them around. Fabian is more of a ball-winning midfielder, but he's kind of a fairly handy utility midfielder, and has been complaining about not getting enough first-team football, so might as well fix that for him. Ludogorets also winning 5-0. They're having a grand time. O'Connor finds Glusen, whips it across. Fabian just heads it over. And the full-time whistle has gone. So we have won 3-1 on aggregate. Well done, lads. Did not expect to make it into the next round. I am going to be completely honest. And Ferencváros 4-1. So they won their game 1-0. I thought they drew 1-1. Interesting. Gwen scoring a hat-trick. It's not bad. We received £85,000 for that. Fixture rearrangements. Derry and UCD have had to be moved around because we've qualified for the next round of the Champions League. Marcelo Torres has been quite influential for the Cypriot champions. I think we can all agree. 24 in 52. But I think that... Oh no, it won't be the end of the season because they play Europa League now. Boy, howdy. Is it going to be difficult for us, because we're not really going to get much of a break from the games with the Champions League coming along. So next episode will be Ferencváros in both legs. We're playing in Hungary first and then in Cork for the second leg, and we have a Senior Challenge Cup first round tie in between. Not a huge amount of time for us to rest. We're playing bowls, and then 3 days later, the first leg, 3 days later we play the Senior Challenge Cup first round, and not long after we play against Ferencváros, and then 3 days later play UCD, and then 3 days later, we're just playing every 3 days now. I don't think I have a big enough squad. I only have 2 centre backs. Well, I have 3. I have 3 centre backs. Definitely need to fix that. But if you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below how you think we're going to do against Ferencváros, because I don't know if we're going to do that well. Ferencváros, very strong side. One can only hope. Thank you for watching, fellas, and I will catch you in the next one.